Hi, everybody, and thanks for joining me today. I really appreciate it. I wanted to reach out to everybody and say hello and hope that everybody's doing well and staying safe. Looks like and feels like we're getting out of this, and let's just hope for the best and continue to be safe and healthy. But in the meantime, as promised, I wanted to get back to everybody and give you an update on the market condition, at least the real estate market condition here in Las Vegas. Last time we spoke, I gave you an update on the first quarter, which included the month of March, our first month of COVID-19, and I definitely wanted to give us an update on what happened in the month of April. Today I'm recording this, it is May 4th, and this should be a good little update on everything that's happened for the month. Hopefully, I think you'll see it's pretty good news. Well, to dive right in, I wanted to give you a sense of the data that we looked at last time. So if you recall, we were looking at the year-over-year data from 2019 to 2020. Here you will see where we were in the month of April in terms of the average sales price. In the month of April of 2019, we had an average sales price of about $297,000. If you'll notice, here was our average sales price in the month of March, a month ago when we reported this. And yes, we did drop. So we were showing a $315,000 average sales price, which dropped to $305,000. That is a $10,000 drop, but the number of units that we're using really wasn't as significant. So I don't want anybody to get too hung up on this $10,000 drop. Because if you'll notice, it's still significantly higher than where we were for a majority of last year. If we look at the average sales price, we'll see that it also has about a $10,000 drop from $363,000 to $353,000. If we look at new listings, however, here is something kind of interesting. So April of last year, we had 4,134 listings. This year, we're down to 2,384 new listings. So, down quite a few listings and certainly down from when we were in the month of March. This is really kind of an interesting thing. This is creating more of a seller's market because we're not seeing a lot of people putting homes on the market. This really looks like a precipitous drop. It is from 36 to 23, so it's quite a few homes, but not too dramatic considering that in the month of December of 2019 we were down to roughly 1,900 homes. So in and of itself, not something that is of major concern. If we look at homes for sale, this is the total number of homes for sale. Again, these are for our categories that we defined up here, which are the categories for most of our clients here at New Door Residential. You'll see that in the month of April of last year, we had 9,000 homes roughly on the market. Today, we've got 6,200 homes on the market. So again, we're seeing lower and lower inventories. Now, this pending sale number is an important number. This number is the number of homes that went into contract in the month, by the end of the month shown. So as of April of 2019, you'll see that there were 2,900 new homes that were sold in that month. They weren't closed, but they went into contract. This month, there were 1,774 homes that were sold. Now, we're seeing a decline here from February 2,600, March 2,000, April 1,700. But as you saw here in terms of new listings, we're also seeing fewer new listings. So as this may indicate that we're seeing a fairly decent equilibrium of people putting their home on the market and people buying homes from the market. In terms of closed sales, now these are sales of homes that may have happened in the recent past. Typically here in Las Vegas, from the time that a home goes into this status, pending sale status, to the time that it closes is about 45 days. So it would be safe to assume that a majority of these homes that closed in the month of April probably were sold sometime between January, maybe as late as January, probably February, March timeframe that we're now closing in this April timeframe. If we look at these, this number is down, but it's also consistent with the other inventory and sales numbers that we've seen. And if we compare it to where we were last year, it was February of last year when we saw about 1,800 homes. Here we have 1,845. April of last year, we were at 2,700. April of this year, we're at 1,800 homes. Now, in terms of number of days on the market, you'll see that this number continues to fall. So what this is indicating is that since January, the number of days on the market at 34 dropped to 28 in February, dropped to 19 in March, and actually dropped to 13 in the month of April. Again, this is consistent with lower inventory and the sheer volume of transactions that are happening. If we look at the average number of days, fairly consistent as well. Now, in terms of months of supply, this is what continues to to make me feel good about the market and its condition. Last year at this time, we had about 3.7 months worth of supply, and as you can see, throughout the rest of the year last year, it increased 3.8, 3.9, not dramatic, still a seller's market, but really dropped here through the end of the year. Down to February, we were down to 2.2. If you recall, last month I mentioned that I was concerned that this number could continue to go upward. It didn't. So we were at 2.5 months worth of supply in the month of March, and we are still at 2.5 months of supply in the end of April. This coupled with the pending sales, coupled with the new listings, kind of indicate that we're staying fairly solid. And it's not like everybody's putting their houses on the market. We're not seeing a huge buildup of inventory, which is a really good thing. This, which is the percent of list price, which is effectively the ask to close ratio, kind of indicates what the sales price versus the closing price. So in the month of March, if you had a home on the market for $100,000, for example, it closed for $99.4 thousand. This month, it closed for $99.5 thousand. So pretty consistent, right? We're not needing to do a lot of negotiation on the sales price to get a property sold. So we're not seeing huge discounting, I guess is the way to really explain that best. In terms of the price per square foot, this is really, I mentioned this last time, not a really important factor, about $171 per square foot. And then, of course, the dollar volume overall for the market is down primarily because of the other factors that that we were discussing. So generally speaking, the question I get asked a lot is, should I buy or should I sell my house? And I keep going back to the fact that that's got to be a personal decision. That said, the data supports the fact that it's still a pretty good time to buy and sell, generally speaking. If you need to sell your home, it's okay to do so. If you need to buy a home, it's okay to do so. As an example, the data supports that last month alone, in the month of April, we sold, we had 2,384 new homes go on the market. That was families that said, I'm going to sell our home. 2,384. At the same time, we had 1,774 people say, I want to buy a house, and did. They went into contract. And so that's about a 1,200 home gap on a general basis, right? So that could maybe suggest that we're building up a little bit of inventory, but as you can see in the data, we're staying really stable. And in the month of April, we had 1,845 closings. So that was during the heart of the COVID-19 crisis. Certainly, with what's going on in our marketplace today, people have the ability to potentially change or extend their contracts or negotiate terms, et cetera, or even cancel if they had to. And they didn't, right? We didn't have a very high cancellation number. I should have pulled that number up. I can report that next time. But generally speaking, we had 1,845 people that closed on their sales. They closed at an average of $338,000 on about a 2,200 square foot house with an average on market time from about 35 days. So I hope this was helpful, and if you've got any questions whatsoever regarding the data or anything else related to the real estate market, I hope you'll call me. Feel free to text or email. I'm definitely available, whether you're interested in buying or selling or just want to talk a little bit about the market at large or specifically to your neighborhood. I'd be delighted to speak to you. So please don't hesitate to reach out. But in the meantime, I hope you're staying safe and happy and healthy, and I look forward to speaking to you soon. Take care.